Crocheting your yarn ends inside the stitches when you change yarn or take a new ball of yarn can save a lot of time. But you need to know when you can then just cut off the rest of the yarn ends and when you still need to weave them in as well. There is especially one situation when you always need to also weave in, even if your yarn ends are inside the stitches, because otherwise your work will unravel. So let's look at when it works and when it doesn't. Here I am at the end of a row and I have just cut the yarns and changed the color. And what I'm going to do now works equally well with single crochets, double crochets, half double crochets, trebles, any kind of stitch as long as the stitches are close together. I have double crochets here using the American term, and I'm going to do single crochets next. I chain one and turn. And now I'm taking these two yarn ends and holding them in such a way that when I continue to crochet, they stay inside my stitches. So like that. First stitch, that's them in there, and I continue. And just holding them on top of the stitches of the previous row. And you need to continue keeping them there for a while. And a good tip actually is that when you leave them out so that you then cut them off, I would not stop crocheting both of them in at the same time, because then it shows less where they had been cut off. So I'll do one more stitch here. And now I'm leaving this yellow one out of the stitches and continue a few more stitches, keeping the other one in there. And now I'm leaving that out as well. And continue crocheting normally. And in a situation like this here, now you can just cut them. They will stay there. And this would of course have worked equally well if I had changed the color in the middle of the row. It doesn't matter where you change it. It just works the same way. Now I added some different types of stitches here, like fans. And when your stitches are like that, then it does not work to put the yarn ends inside the stitches because you skip so much. So if I had a pink yarn running here, it would obviously show very badly here and here and here and here. So that's what I meant when I said that you can do that with any stitches as long as the stitches are close together. The most important situation where you do not just cut the yarns off but you have to weave them in is when you are using a magic ring. So I'll make a magic ring here now, and let's say I'll do double crochets into the ring with one chain in between. And like always in magic rings, you leave this here tail inside the stitches. So it's in there and it does get covered by your stitches. I'll make 8 of these into the ring now. Here, and then I'm tightening the magic ring like this here. So this is where you cannot cut it off. If you do, it's definitely going to come apart. Instead, take a needle and go first at least half round the same direction. Many people actually would go round a full circle like that there, and then still go backwards as well. So skip over one yarn and then backwards again. That's the wrong side is on here. And now you can cut it. Here I have a basic granny square that I'm working on. And this is actually an example that for part of it, leaving yarns inside the stitches can work, but for most of it, it doesn't. What I mean is it works okay in the beginning, in the first round, because the stitches go so tightly there. Now if you have done the middle using the magic ring, then you can't cut it off. But here I have chained 5 and then crocheted over that chain. So this here yarn goes right round inside it. So here just about I would dare to cut it off here. But then further on here, where I'm changing the yarn in the corners, it does not work if you leave the yarn inside the stitches. You see how it shows over the stitches there. And it can then also easily show on the right hand side of the work. So this method does not work with granny squares. You have to weave them in. And watch also this video for more tips. Till next time!